Well, it looks like we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Boys and girls, SEC, Gary Gensler, and everyone else watching. That was my sad laugh, by the way. All right. I will wait for everyone else to jump in the chat. Let some people get in, then we'll get into the news. Guys, we have some interesting news today, some very big news. I'm excited to talk about because amongst the mess of sadness, we have some possibly good news coming on here. Now, it's not going to change the outcome of the market, but it's something good to look at because ultimately, you know, we've got to look at crypto as an evolving industry, right? And we're not going to start at the end goal straight away. Matter of fact, we're probably starting 10 years in the past or, you know, the previous yard line from the previous bloody field. Good morning, guys. G'day, g'day. What is going on? So yes, we've got a lot to, you know, lot to build up, lot to work on, simply because we have an existing industry that, like, ultimately, when we disrupt the finance industry or, you know, is basically disrupt any infrastructure, it's going to be a lot more difficult to do. So I do think that it's going to take a bit more time. It's going to take a bit more time, but we'll get there. And that's why we have to look at the more important things that come out of crypto, right? Not always negative, negative, negative. Sometimes people need a break. Phil619, how are you guys doing today? TB, good time to buy. Look, it is a good time to buy. I'm of the mindset things are going to get a lot lower and a lot worse. So, yeah, I'm holding off a little bit. I'm still DCAing, of course, but, you know, I'm actually studied things down a little bit. I'm not going as deep and hard because, yeah, I just feel like it's the start of the end. And when I say end, I mean like it's going to get worse. I mean, look, tomorrow's the date the Hinman documents are released. And honestly, I don't know if it's going to be positive. I think if it's positive, crypto's going to pump quite, at least I think quite strongly, but it's going to obviously go down because I believe we're still in a bear market. Now, I think if it's negative news, we're going to be in for a massive shitstorm. So that's why I'm not really, I don't want to gamble that right now. So, but I think there is a good chance that the SEC finds a way to swindle themselves through even good news, if that makes sense. So, because it is just documents, it's conversations, and nothing's like actually formal. So for me, I think it's one of those things in crypto. I got a very instinctive feeling it's like overhyped, and I'm obviously been made a few videos on it. But I do think that maybe the news isn't going to be as good as what it's hyped up to be. 5 a.m. Wow, man, I feel for you. Thank you for coming on, though. I appreciate that. That shows me a lot. Thank you. Yeah, Trump. Oh, no. I feel sorry for the guy. I don't want to get political because I think, you know, everyone's got their, you know, people do take it a little bit too seriously. I'm not one to do that, but I think he's being treated a bit harshly, to be honest with you. Just bought more DOT. Nice, Wob. Nice. Alexi, I can't understand you. If you can translate to English, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Paul, big fella, we're at the start bull run. DAG be with you. Yeah, I'm not obviously invested in DAG, but I do see there's a lot of potential there. A lot of potential, more than most projects. I wonder if they'll black out most of the emails. Yeah, I think they will, Phil. I think they will. Definitely names. They'll redact the names for sure. I'm scared they might redact a little too much, and then this court case is going to be ongoing still. That's a good point. Sweetscape, tuning in from Melbourne, 7:08 p.m. Mate, it's 7:08 p.m. here too. Yeah, welcome. I'm not in Melbourne though. I'm a lot north than that. Trump 2024. What are your thoughts on ADA? Yeah, Claudia, I like ADA. I like ADA. Particularly, I like Charles Hoskinson. I think the man's, he's, you know, I think he's really good for the industry. He's been on a lot of flack in the past. So has ADA in general, I think. But yeah, it's a great project. I think they need to really niche down. But yeah, I got to be careful what I say there because everyone's going to come after me then. Guys, like the video. If you haven't already, like the stream and we'll get started ASAP. I got some news to share with you all. I mean, look, ADA is a very fair network, right? The consensus to Ouroboros is good. Decentralizes the network. It's probably as fair as you can get a POS system, right? Thoughts on RXD? I haven't looked into RXD actually. Travel and chill. So that might be one we look at after the news, hey? We'll jump into. I hope everyone is doing extremely well. We might get started. Thank you everyone for liking it. Appreciate you. What do you think about Near Protocol? Yeah, I've made a few videos on Near Protocol now. Love it to bits. Nothing really bad I can say about the network, really. They're doing everything right, in my opinion. They've done exactly what I wanted them to do, which was pivot. So they were obviously a general purpose sort of blockchain. They are still very general purpose, but they're labeling themselves as a blockchain operating system, kind of like Quant is like an operating system, right? They're rebranding themselves to more market Web 2 essentially, which is good to see. They've got some recent news as well, so we're not touching on Near Protocol today, but we are touching on some of the big boys as well. To what extent do you think the reason why ETH is so heavily used because hardware wallets and warm wallets use the network and don't support HBAR/ADA? I'm not too... So what do you mean by that exactly, 619? You mean in general, like why the networks just really like use so much? Is that what you're sort of saying? The Tigers won, so great weekend ahead. I don't follow NRL as much as I used to be honest with you. But I'm good. I'm happy. I'm glad that your team's winning, bro. I'm getting started my video, then I find out you're live streaming. All right, guys. We've got over 20 likes now. That was the sort of barrier I was going to start at. So let's get straight into the video. I'm going to try my best to bring you the information as succinctly as possible. Let's deactivate the camera here. Hopefully you guys can still hear and see me. Just let me know down below if you can still hear and see me, hey? I don't want to like start rambling for half an hour like I have in the past in other videos to find out I've been doing it wrong. Hear and see me, guys? You can hear and see me? I would say, look, hold questions to the end. Hold questions to the end. Because I'm about to ramble. You can? Sweet. I'm about to ramble, guys, and I don't want to miss your questions because chances are I'm probably going to jump over any of the questions or things asked between now and then. Loud and clear. All right. Let's get started, fellas. Okay, so we'll start with Ava Labs, right? So AVAX has got some pretty interesting news that have come out. So quite a while ago now, 27th of May, right? The automated blockchain builder from Ava Cloud provides builders with access to no-code blockchain pool that offers 24/7 technical support and dedicated infrastructure team to help them manage a custom network. What the hell am I talking about here, right? It's a no-code, pretty much Web3 launchpad called Ava Cloud, but it's by AVAX themselves, by Ava Labs, right? So Ava Labs, the company behind Layer 1 blockchain Avalanche, is launching Ava Cloud, a Web3 launchpad. Get this, that helps businesses build no-code, fully managed blockchain ecosystems. The Ava Cloud product has 4 main components: an automated blockchain builder, managed validators, comprehensive data tools, and chain interoperability. This is huge. This is huge. And one thing I've noticed about Avalanche is that they're hyper-focused to onboarding Web 2. They're really focusing on that right now. They've got so many integrations coming through. And, you know, they've got massive funds, multi-billion dollar funds now tokenized on the network, right? The automated blockchain builder provides companies with access to no-code blockchain pool that offers 24/7 technical support. That might not seem like that important, but that really is for developers, especially because blockchain is so global. It's really important that obviously things are 24/7, just like crypto in a way, and a dedicated infrastructure team to help manage a custom network. Each blockchain operated through Ava Cloud uses precompiled smart contracts that are customizable and built into the blockchain protocol. This is some huge stuff, right? And unfortunately, Ava doesn't get as much credit as what they really should. And that's honestly, I fall into that category. I don't talk about them enough. And honestly, I haven't really spent too much time in them because I actually, and I must be completely transparent, I was working for a Web3 company for about 10 months before I got into this full time, and they were heavily Ava based, and it kind of put me off a little bit because you guys know me, I like my infrastructure projects, I like to find the projects really making a difference. And so I was never exposed to that sort of avalanche. I saw it every single day and I got sick of it. But nothing obviously bad came out of that. But I now take a step back and have a look at it, very objectively, and actually diving into the fundamentals, not just the technology. And I'm like, wow, this is an amazing network, all right? Subnets are awesome. They're just like shards in a way, okay? So what is AvaCloud? Well, it's going to help a hell of a lot, right? If you guys don't know, creating a new network is extremely daunting for anyone and everyone involved, pretty much, right? So very expensive. So by going through AvaCloud, your developers can save $1 million a year. And it's 95% time reduction, okay, and 85% cost reduction, right? So that's huge. That's huge because this is a barrier to entry, as I said, for Web 2. And it's really good to see Avalanche actually is one of those very few networks looking to already start to onboard the mass market. Now, to me, it feels like, things are starting to ramp up in the sense that, like, crypto is becoming more welcoming to Web 2 to the point of when the floodgates do open, when regulation does enable businesses to come in, I think the larger businesses will port over first. And that is what we're seeing, right? Now, don't get me wrong, there's, I'm guessing a lot of small businesses in the world that, leverage some of these networks like Polygon, for example. But definitely, I think it's the reverse, typically for new things, we'll find smaller businesses start to poke around a bit, and then we'll see the larger guys come in and say, hey, things are established, let's move in. But I actually think it's going to be opposite, right? I think unless they're already like a branch of a large enterprise or something of the sort, I think we'll see the big boys move in first. And we're even seeing some bloody nations like Multiverse X, they're already partnering with Romania. Albeit, most of it is NFT marketplaces, but it's kind of like indicating, our foot's in the door, all right? Our foot's in the door, okay? So also, Ava Labs launches Avalanche Arcade. I'm just going to say arcade, it's Arcade 3, right? To help game studios enter Web 3. Again, right? Web 2 helping Web 3 here. Avalanche Arcade is connecting traditional game publishers with crypto firms to help bring legacy IP into the fledgling, I don't even know what that word is, Web 3 gaming space. Important because I think we can all agree that Web 3 gaming is going to be like one of the most prominent narratives in the next bull market. So yeah, this is some big stuff. Ava Labs, the crypto firm supporting the Avalanche blockchain, announced today that it is launching Avalanche Arcade, a collaborative program for traditional game developers to explore blockchain game integrations. Now, Japanese metaverse and entertainment firms Gree and, don't know how to pronounce that, have joined Arcade as two of its earliest partners, okay? Avalanche Arcade promises to connect so-called Web 2 game makers with existing esports organization, blockchain gaming guilds, and Web 3 game studios building on Avalanche. The program will offer strategies on regulatory compliance and how NFTs, prize pools, esports marketing, and in-game tokens can be implemented on chain. So, as I mentioned to you, the whole sort of narrative of what I'm trying to bring to you here is Avalanche is actually marketing themselves very effectively, and I think they really are penetrating the market. It's one of those things where I think, you guys know my stance on general purpose networks, right? I think Ethereum, as a lot of people do agree with me, a lot of people disagree, that it is probably going to be like the number one general purpose network for a very long time, okay? Because while they're slow and methodical, they will eventually upgrade, the network will be sharded, it'll be modular, and therefore it'll be able to sustain a lot of networks, right? Or even shards pretty much can become their own networks, right? So just like Aurora is for Near Protocol, right? So yeah, I do think that there can be competitors to Ethereum, and I think Ava Labs might be one of them, but Ava Labs is also hyper-focused within the metaverse area, I believe, because they recently partnered with, who was it now? One of the cloud infrastructure providers, Alibaba, right? And specifically any network or company wanting to create a metaverse through Alibaba as, to support their infrastructure will be instantly added to Avalanche. So yeah, I do think that these guys are niching specifically into the metaverse gaming, that sort of like online world. And we're seeing with the Apple glasses or whatever they're called, the metaverse augmented reality glasses, that this is going to happen, right? And we saw obviously Meta somewhat recently fail at this, but I do think it's going to it's going to ultimately end up coming into fruition. I just think a little bit later than people anticipated, right? We were supposed to be floating around on hoverboards at this stage, right? But we're not, okay? Things do take a little bit of time. Next up, HBAR. Actually, let me just get a little bit of water first, and let me know what you guys think about all this recent news on Avalanche before we move on. Yeah, Yeah, I understand what you're saying there, Wob. Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. I think to some degree it's if you mean like because this is all sort of like very centralized businessy and crypto's like your decentralized narrative, that totally makes sense to me. I think some networks are like Avalanche, for example, going to be like your general purpose networks. While they're decentralized, they're not really decentralized. Nothing really is decentralized other than like Bitcoin, and it's always to a degree, right? Like you might have nodes spread across the whole world, it's geographically decentralized, but in terms of hash rate and actually how the network comes to consensus, very, very centralized. It's like if I think even up to 2 of the largest pools were to collude, and I think 3 of the top 2 are the same, run by the same company, the network can be overrun, double spending can happen, so on and so forth. I mean, the CCP can start down. Oh, yeah, of course. No, you're right. 100%. Yes. Yeah. It's still under China, so that's right. It's very hit and miss, on and off. 100%. You're right. Okay. SSB. Welcome, man. Welcome. All right, let's get into HBAR, guys. So we got some more news here with these guys, but I want to say for starters, look at this. 11 billion total mainnet transactions. You know how phenomenal that is? That's amazing, guys. Look at the TPS they're pushing, by the way. Most networks can't do that. Most networks poddle around 30 to 40 TPS. They say they can do 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, but you never see them above a couple hundred, but not HBAR, okay? And again, like these guys hit 10 billion, not too long ago. I swear it felt like a week or two ago, right? And they're really 1.1 billion. So big props there. And let's break this down a little bit, right? So the transaction volume for these guys is phenomenal, right? We're on Dragon Glass here, and we can see every single day this last week, we're probably averaging about what? About 77 billion, million rather, transactions a day, right? So that's a lot. And so like when I talk about token absorption all the time, like how is the token grabbing all of the transactions, processing on the network? And obviously that does depend, and it should vary depending on the network and type of transaction, but we're getting very technical here. So I want to say we look at that, and that's a hell of a lot of transactions, but I want to show you guys something very important, right? We head over to HBAR here and we can have a look at the fees. So how much are they absorbing, right? And as you can see here, HBAR has a very comprehensive and easy to follow 3-step guide on how transactions are, how the fees of the transactions rather are calculated, okay? And if we just go to the very most basic type of transaction, so cryptocurrency service, crypto transfer, done. Me to you, simple transaction, right? Well, we come in here, the API call estimate is about 0.000, well, whatever that is. It's pretty much 1/100th or 1/1000th of a cent, or a dollar, rather. So that's not much. And that's like the standard HBAR fee. I think all of us know, if we hit consensus service or token service, right, and we go to token transfer, it's the same, okay? So they're pretty much all the same, unless you start getting into the real complicated stuff. You start doing fiddly stuff here, especially with creating new tokens and stuff. You're going to obviously start to get higher fees, of course, but generally speaking, 99% of people are using that. So therefore, we can come over here, do some quick maths, and go, okay, on average, it's about 77 million transactions a day. Multiply that by, whatever that might be, the current average fee rather, and that's about $7,700 a day. So you can see they're processing all these transactions. Now, remember, this is just a standard fee. I'm guessing that all these transactions aren't just standard, but it's only $7,700 a day. Now, I want to say for the record, they got more money coming in through other places, but you can see how easy it is just to find this information, right? And then you can begin to go, okay, that's per day. Let's work it out how much per week and then how much per year. And then you can start to figure out roughly how much revenue. You might tack on some extra stuff there. And then so you can obviously get an idea of how profitable that specific token model is, if the utility is actually as good as what they say it is, right? So this, isn't that much, but that's a day. Remember, that's a single day, but they are processing lots of transactions. Now, I want to say they are upgrading this transaction fee model. They are upgrading it to be a little bit more dynamic, meaning it's going to move and shift depending on demand and stuff like that. So I like that because it also helps with security on the network as well. If you tend to find the protocols that have and they do boast this, 0.0000001 cent fees. It's like Solana in a way. You can DDoS the hell out of that. You might spend $5-6 grand or whatever it might be, but if you push enough transactions to the network, you're going to overload the hell out of it because it's so cheap in the fee department, and then it's, you DDoS the network, right? Don't do that, anyone, all right? Actually, it might be good. I shouldn't say that. It might be good to stress test some networks, but I don't think anyone's want to spending that money to do that. Okay, let's move on. So the roadmap, guys. Now, the roadmap here, I wanted to bring this to your attention, and I mentioned this in a recent video as well, but I thought I wanted to bring it to a larger audience. By the way, guys, before I continue, hit the like button if you haven't already. It really helps me out, helps push the live stream out to more people. Thank you so much. But yeah, so the community nodes were supposed to be enabled in Q2 of this year, which, as we all know, we're past Q2. We're in a Q3 right now, of course. So, you know, continue the HBAR path to decentralization through the introduction of a set of permission community-run mainnet nodes. Now, please let me know in just a second if I'm getting this wrong, but the actual HIP, or the Hedera Improvement Proposal, that was supposed to begin this sort of decentralized upgrade, if you will, is rejected. Okay, so status rejected. The reason being is this HIP has been rejected, and the proposed idea will not be implemented or pursued further. What even does that actually mean, right? That's kind of scary, all right? So I thought, if anyone knows the answer, I've scoured the internet, don't get me wrong. I've tried to look for the answer. I don't want to push out FUD, but yeah, that's not the best thing. Not the best thing. Okay, so I wanted to bring that to your attention, and apparently it's supposed to be being upgraded, or at least enhanced, over here in Q3. So at the end of this month, or quarter rather. Okay, but we do have some bullish information to counteract that bearish news. The HBAR Foundation has collaborated with Red Swan, okay, marketplace. So this gets really interesting, guys. You really want to listen to this. Red Swan CRE builds its token studio on Hedera for real-world asset tokenization. This is where the world is moving, and we've got some more news on a different network that also attains to some real-world asset news, okay? Some big stuff, and it is happening. You'll see why in just a second, right? So today, we're excited to announce that Red Swan CRE, the commercial real estate company worth 5 billion AUM, is launching its token studio on Hedera for real-world asset tokenization. We aren't talking NFTs, guys. This is the real deal. Last year, Boston Consulting Group predicted that $16 trillion in assets could be tokenized by 2030, with real estate being the largest asset class, obviously, okay? Now, tokenization of real-world assets includes increased liquidity, fairer market prices, and a reduction in management fees. This, in turn, enables increased market participation and lower costs whilst upholding the inherent security benefits of the blockchain. Again, what does blockchain offer the world? Borderless, accessible, anyone can do anything online from the comfort of their own home, and there's no barrier to entry, or at least limited barrier to entries, right? Recognizing this, Red Swan decided to launch its token studio on the Hedera network. Through this new platform, users will be able to participate in creating and investing in digital security tokenized assets. By fractionalizing assets on the platform, the studio allows users to own a piece of the commercial real estate market that has traditionally been out of reach for the smaller investor, so on and so forth. Basically, you guys get the deal. This talks a little bit more about Red Swan. If you really want to know more, you can obviously look up the news. It'll be like the first link, okay? This is some big stuff, right? So you guys know HBAR is processing a hell of a lot of transactions, right? A mind-bending amount of transactions. It's like, I think it's beating every other network out there right now. I'm 99% sure it is, okay? You guys can fact check me on that. So this is some very bullish news, okay? And the fact that they're getting even deeper into, you know, possibly looking at, well, partnering with Red Swan here and, you know, tokenizing actual assets is even more bullish, right? I think somebody, they mentioned Red Swan decided to leverage Hedera for its highly optimized and built for purpose HTS, or Hedera token service, that allows real world assets to be tokenized with a best-in-class combination of speed, blah, 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 blah. And you guys know from watching my videos, as we can see here, this was from a video I was comparing Hedera's enterprise model against Algorand's enterprise model. We can see the Hedera token service is like their flagship sort of enterprise grade solution, or one of, should I say. Their consensus service really is their flagship model here, but this is definitely offering all the possible necessities an enterprise would want to come onto Web 2, right? So go ahead and watch that video if you haven't already, but let's move on. As you can see here, the marketplace is coming soon. This is on redswan.io itself. So yeah, some big stuff happening here, guys. Okay, so yeah, this is something to look out for. Definitely when this is live and pushing, we can ideally see more transactions being pushed through to the network, therefore obviously more revenue coming in, and obviously hopefully the price should go up in that case, right? Now over here, I want to finish up by saying some old news, of course, but still, nevertheless, it's good news. Hedera held a governing council meeting in the actual Google Cloud headquarters itself, right? So this is some very good news because ultimately they're creating connections. And the more connections they create, the more market penetration and the more specified they can actually get into different sort of markets around the world, okay? Because there's never just like one thing fits everywhere. For example, right, you have Indian markets, Australian markets, US markets, and you have to talk to different people in different places to obviously get your foot in the door, essentially. So yeah, Google's are pretty central to a lot of these different things. So this is some very good news as well, ideally. So yeah, Hedera is obviously looking quite bullish for the future. Just that if someone can maybe discuss this in the comments, that'd be excellent, right? Okay, so let's move on here. We're talking a bit about Polygon network now. So Deutsche Telekom announces support for the Polygon blockchain infrastructure, right? Now, these guys are actually also in the news in a later coin we're going to talk about. So from what it appears, they've done the same thing twice now. Now, of course, I'm kind of collating news across the last few weeks. So yeah, anyway, they're kind of partnering with Polygon because they've become a Polygon validator. All right, so yeah, this is quite good news. It obviously shows that there's a connection there, and these guys are wanting to enter themselves into the sort of Web3 space. And again, they do the exact same thing. They become a validator. I'm going to spoiler alert with Energy Web Token, all right? So yeah, big company. You guys should probably know a little bit about this company already. It's a German-based company. I think, yeah, so number of employees over 200,000 as of this year, and the revenue they've been pulling through 114.4 billion euros in 2022. And that's euros too, right? So yeah, big, huge company here. It's just good to see that they are entering the Web3 space. You know, it's very limited. They're just becoming a validator, and well, that's quite important. It doesn't really have a direct effect on the price. It's just good to know, okay? Now, Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank backed Taurus deploys on Polygon blockchain. So a new sort of application, DApp Taurus, has deployed on Polygon backed by Deutsche Bank and Credit Suisse, essentially, right? So Taurus, which offers custody, tokenization, and trading of digital assets, has linked with the Ethereum scaling network Polygon as the tokenization of real-world assets gained traction among financial institutions and large companies. So yes, more tokenization news here. So yeah, this is some good stuff, right? The firm raised $65 million in funding in a round led by Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank in February. Now, Deutsche Bank obviously is a pretty big bank, and you guys should probably all know Credit Suisse, right? Now, most tier one financial institutions are entering the space and building capabilities to manage tokenized securities. Taurus said in an email, they all want a blockchain agnostic and token agnostic infrastructure. Now, suffice to say, Polygon is at the center of pretty much anything to do with Ethereum now. I know a friend of mine, he's also a YouTuber, and he mentions that he's got a business just down the road from where he lives. It's a small little company using Polygon. So yeah, these guys are getting their feet in every single door possible, right? And also, some final news here for Polygon. FIFA, Matter Maker, EA Sports to add Nike NFTs to games. Now, Nike's Polygon-based .swoosh gear is coming to future EA Sports games in a blockbuster integration announced on Thursday, okay? So obviously, sportswear giant and Web3 powerhouse Nike, I don't know about the Web3 powerhouse part of that, announced a collaboration with video game maker EA Sports on Thursday with what appear to be planned digital collectibles of Nike branded gear via the Swoosh platform that will be integrated into future EA games. So yeah, I mean, what's more to say? I guess ultimately, Polygon has some of the biggest connections in the entire space. Let's just all go ahead and say that right now, okay? And so, you know, this is some pretty important and big news. I get it for at least other networks, but for Polygon at this stage is almost like a given, right? It's just like happens on the daily almost at this point, right? So, but it's nevertheless, it's very, very big news, okay? And, you know, with the recent downturn in the market, we've gotten Polygon at a pretty good price. As far as I remember, it dropped down to about 50 cents. It might have dropped a little bit beneath that, but it's still, we got in at quite a good price there, or we could have gotten a good price, right? So we have really good discounts right now. Next, let's kind of finish up on more easygoing news, and then we're going to get back into the comments for you guys and answer some questions here, right? Now, MINA protocol. So MINA has a new DApp on the network as the first decentralized exchange ever, right? And that's, I'm going to say Lumina, right? Nice little play on words there. Lumina leverages MINA's unique tech stack to offer ZK KYC-enabled enterprise-ready DEX. There's a lot in a little amount of words right there, okay? So it's ZK KYC enabled, which is a benefit of zero knowledge proofs, right? You can pretty much do KYC with the end user like you and I having no sort of qualms about, hey, they're looking at my driver's license or whatever. It's all done in a very private manner. And therefore, it's almost enterprise. Well, I don't know exactly what they're doing for the back end and how fast it'll be, but I think a part of the reason why it's enterprise ready is because they can do that, right? So it's obviously enterprises need to follow KYC AML laws, and therefore this obviously is a big benefit in that case. I just thought I would mention that because MINA's got a very big roadmap for 2023, guys, and also moving into 2025 as well. You guys should have seen my videos on MINA, but it's like jam-packed, right? There's a new network and they're doing so much in such a short period of time. If they actually come out with all of these upgrades and they don't postpone them, which honestly, it wouldn't surprise me, it's going to be massive, massive for the growth of the network, right? And honestly, we can benefit from that quite severely. Next is Moonbeam, okay? So Uniswap has deployed on Moonbeam as a dApp, right? So the V3 has migrated over. They just pretty much compiled the code. But ultimately, it's a pretty bullish thing for Moonbeam, right? Because now you have like the largest DEX in crypto pretty much leveraging your platform, right? So it's going to absorb all of the sort of demand coming through Polkadot into one place. It's like funneling all of the sort of DEX-based demand into Moonbeam, right? So it's a win-win, okay? Because Uniswap wins because they're getting more traffic, okay? And the way that Moonbeam is created is that you can actually share, ideally in future, once the network is in full form, you can share TVL across any deployment, right? As long as Moonbeam has a connection to it, it's all there, okay? So you're not trying to fragment liquidity, which is really good, okay? So yeah, it's also good obviously for Moonbeam because then obviously there's more traffic going to be coming through because Uniswap's a pretty name brand at this place place in the crypto market, right? So yeah, I want to also mention, guys, Moonbeam is at a big discount right now. So you should all know this if you're a Moonbeam fan, right? 149 mil market cap. What the F, right? This was at like 500 million about a day or two ago, right? I'm obviously exaggerating here, but it was, you know, pretty much at 500 million about a month or two ago. It's crazy, crazy. So yeah, we're at like all-time lows. If we scroll down here to all-time low, okay, 2 days ago at 21 cents. 21 cents. We're 22 cents right now. Again, okay, I'm the one to believe that we're going to go a lot lower. So am I investing dollar cost averaging in Moonbeam right now? No. Okay, no. But definitely it will be happening once I get a better grasp of the market. If you've seen my recent video where I go over what could possibly be happening soon, I kind of want the dust to settle a little bit over the next month/2, see where the market's at. Hey, if I miss a pump in the next couple of days because of these Hinman documents, I really don't care. I really don't care. There'll be more opportunities to come. So I'd rather not take my chances in that case. And if I can, get in at like prices we'll never see again. Okay. Now, yes, Moonbeam actually is performing extremely well. It's actually beating not just Polkadot related networks in terms of its metrics, but also the global crypto market as well. It's like smashing even layer one networks, okay, which is great to see. We can see here 20.84 million transactions. And as you can see, kind of what I was saying to you guys earlier with HBAR is that they're actually pushing 0.4 TPS right now. What even does that mean? I don't even understand what that means, right? 0.4. How can you do, you know, pretty much a half of a transaction? I don't know. Let me know down below. But nevertheless, that's a lot of transactions, okay? The good news also is they did secure the next spot, so they are secure for a parachain, at least until 2025, and they did that based off their own sort of back pocket, okay, all through all the transaction fees. Now, speaking of transactions, as we can see here, there haven't been too much, right? So as you can see, we're pretty much, if we average this out, it's more or less about 25,000-30,000 every single day, okay? So we're not talking large amounts. Again, we compare this with HBAR, and it's like, you know, two ends of the spectrum here. But that's not to say that obviously Moonbeam isn't doing things correctly. They're a newer network than HBAR. They're more niche because they're obviously integrated to Polkadot, and they're kind of like an interoperability solution rather than their own sort of layer one traditional network. So nevertheless, a big bull on Moonbeam, so that is also very good news. Now, we'll finish up here with some more Deutsche Telekom partner here with Energy Web Token. Again, the exact same thing as what happened before, except it's obviously a different network. So they're pretty much becoming or at least supporting the network via becoming a validator. All right. So yeah, I mean, this again isn't next gen news. But what it sort of tells me is that, hey, they've created a connection here. So that obviously Energy Web, which I'm an extreme bull on, okay? I don't have a lot of tokens in, but I do think it's extremely underrated and it's pretty much one of a kind right now in crypto. And they have some massive partners that obviously they can now leverage a new sort of partner, okay? So this is some big stuff. A subsidiary, Deutsche Telekom MMS, which is a subsidiary, recently joined the Energy Web Foundation's established ecosystem of energy majors and IT service providers by validating Energy Web's decentralized operating system, so on and so forth, right? So yeah, some pretty big news, guys. Let me just jump back into the full screen here and answer some questions. Okay, if you can see me, you can see me. Here we go. A lot of news to cover. It's a lot of news, but it's over the last couple of weeks at least. I'm going to go back on some comments here, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down right now. I will get to them momentarily. Also, if you are here, haven't liked the live stream, please drop a like. That'd be awesome. You guys can have me for the next 20 minutes. So ask away. Did you, SSB, I'm going to go back here on some of the comments. Did you speak about the SEC situation? I'm stumbling my words tonight, aren't I, guys? Yeah, I did. A few times there. Most of these going to get banned. Yeah, look, depends what happens. Well, it's actually in a couple days now if we're working off US time. So a couple of days will really be the tipping point, I think, for a lot of these networks. Because, one thing I mentioned in a video, I forget which one now, but like, for example, right, if XRP loses or it's still, we don't know what's actually happening yet, the tokens mentioned as securities by the SEC are going to probably fall a lot lower than what they are now. I would think so. But if it comes out as like, yes, okay, Ethereum is not a security, actually XRP is a security, well then every single one of the projects mentioned by the SEC are going to tank. I think that's a given as well. But I think it's going to have a ripple effect because like Algorand, for example. Algorand's a layer 1 network. Well, a lot of layer 1 networks fall into the same category as Algorand. They have similar, I guess ICO, or at least they started the exact same or similarly, and they've conducted themselves very similarly as well. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a very scary time indeed. Very scary time. And that's why I don't want to commit myself right now to any bigger positions. I just want to wait. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, I would probably say I'm going to be, well, I'd honestly say, even if Ripple wins this, right, I still think it's going to be short-lived. So Rob, you're definitely the best person to watch for content. Thank you so much, mate. Do you do any videos on DeFi or just buying and holding? Yeah, actually, that's a great question. I don't do any videos on DeFi specifically, but I do have one of my sort of like friends and I guess you could say channel partners in the chat, Richie Me. He's going to be doing DeFi videos on my Discord. So he's a like DeFi fiend. He knows everything there is to know about DeFi essentially, and specifically how to use different networks to the full extent. So he's going to be doing free videos in my Discord. Again, the Discord is free, therefore the videos are free. And so join it down below. Actually, I'll leave a link after the live stream, and you guys can watch those. We haven't published those yet, but they're definitely coming. So no, not on the channel. I don't think my audience really wants to see specific DeFi stuff just yet. I am looking at doing 2 videos a day soon though, so I need to really fill the gap into what that second set of videos are going to be. So right now I'm up in the air in terms of what that actually is, but that could be something I'll look at for sure. Mason, question. What AU banks and exchanges would you recommend to use purchasing crypto from in Australia? I was using Binance and I'm with CBA, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, and cannot purchase crypto anymore. Yeah, man. I heard that was actually happening. I saw a headline about that. That's some bad stuff. Okay, so I have most of my fiat on Binance, and it's just in fiat. It's not in stable coins or anything like that. So I'm a little bit concerned if I take it off. I can always probably buy crypto with that and just keep my fiat in crypto if I do need to, and then move it around from there. I know it sounds kind of crazy to some of you, but I definitely don't want to take the chance like what's happening here where you can't get your crypto onto exchanges. And that's what we saw last bull market in some circumstances, or at least it lagged and people missed out on lots of money. What would I recommend? There actually is a broker that my mentor mentioned to me. I have a mentor, and I forget what it is now. DC. This is the man here, the man, the myth, DC. What is the broker that you mentioned to me as a way to buy crypto in Australia here? We've got Mason asking that question, and if you can answer that, that would be awesome. I totally forget right now, but that's what I would recommend. Sweaty Goat. Why is everyone so worried about regulation? Just a lot of admin / cost for the cryptos and exchanges. Life will go on. Yeah, I think the reason why people are worried about regulation is because a lot of cryptocurrencies can get really screwed over if regulation comes in and it's not favorable towards them. That will be a big bummer for a lot of networks. Also, it'll provide clarity. I'm a firm believer regulation is required. Everyone loves the idea of crypto, and I do. I'm a big proponent of decentralized self-sovereignty, but I think there is a degree where at a certain level of the stack, or at least certain networks, have to be regulated. And in that case, what can happen then is we can find the institutions and just general businesses wanting to use a network, or also just integrate with a public ledger in some capacity, right? So I think it is required, but again, to some degree. I definitely don't want you guys to think that I'm a big proponent of regulation here when it's a mixture. It's a mixture, right? Best of both worlds. Life's not like that though. Question. Even if tokens are labeled as securities, can they still survive and come into compliance? Yes. It depends. It depends, right? Because right now, all we're really using is the Howey test. Okay, and I guess when these Hinman documents are released, maybe they could leverage some of the information there and say, hey, well, you guys said that ETH isn't a security because of this, which isn't on the Howey test, so we're all going to use the same thing. But that's not really in the law, okay? So, yeah, it's probably going to kill some projects. Projects are going to have to restructure. They might even relaunch, right? They might even have a migration to a new network. Caleb and Brown, that's it. Thank you, DC. That is the one that I would recommend to you, Mason. Caleb and Brown. I'm trying to get to these. Kyron, and further thoughts on FLR Flare from the last live stream. I'll be honest, K Crypto, that's funny. My channel name was either going to be No BS Crypto or Kyron's Crypto. I actually haven't got to doing anything since the last live stream because I was quite sick, and for that, the following week, and I was just playing catch up on everything else. I've pretty much only been catching up right now. But no, I've got Flare written down. I will definitely get to it, mark my words. Do you know Origin Trail Track is a parachain on Polkadot? Could you have a look? All right. Yeah, I know Origin Trail. I've heard of it before. I'll get to some of these questions first, bro. And I'll just type it in, and then we'll jump onto the PC real quick, hey? For the last 10 or so minutes. Origin Trail. What do you think about Gala's going to do? Still standing behind your prediction. The predictions are all over the place. Yeah. I mean, look, honestly, I'll have to revisit Gala here, reassess based on the migration. I kind of didn't want to deal too much with Gala while it all happened because there's been lots of track history of different networks really screwing up there. But the good thing is, the one thing I'm a real bull on now with Gala, and it's really opened me up to the project and why I will probably start dollar cost averaging as a gaming
play is because they burnt all the team tokens, right? That sounds like Teen Titans. If you guys watch that show, shout out to you. Right, they burnt all the tokens, so all their money they're making now is from the revenue from the actual network, from the transactions, or however else they make money, right? That's a really bullish thing. I think that's underrated. You know, that's pretty much, that's like them saying, hey, we're only going to get paid if we do the right thing and we do good work. So Ripple will win. But we will see a relief. But will we see a relief on altcoins? Probably. But there is also the FOMC meeting coming 2 days later. There is also other negative news out there as well. So be very careful. I don't see it lasting. And we don't know what can happen, guys. The macro market has a strong influence on crypto. We are in such turbulent times right now. I mean, be very careful. That's all I got to say. My thoughts on Moonriver, great network. I love it because I love Beam, but I would say it's probably even more, it can probably offer even better rewards in the shorter term because the tokenomics are very favorable. Just depends on Kusama. Couldn't resist buying more Algo HBAR.near. I know it was hard, hey. Prices have been good all year. Even if it goes down, then we can keep DCAing. Here's to financial freedom. Yes, 100%. Damien, you're 100% right, mate. Nothing wrong with DCAing. I just, I'm trying to catch a falling knife here, and I must admit, I'm playing a risky game. Play-to-earn gaming will lead the 2025 bull run. Yeah, I definitely think it's going to have its time to shine. Thoughts on VeChain? Yeah, don't really have too many thoughts on VeChain. Not comprehensive thoughts, at least. Worth getting into. Let's open it up. Again, I'm going to jump into CoinMarketCap momentarily. I appreciate everyone that's liked the live stream, guys. If you can, that would be awesome. VeChain, Vet. We'll have a look at you momentarily. Yeah, again, some of you might be surprised to hear that, you asked me questions about some of these big projects and I got no idea. I know them, obviously, but I couldn't tell you the first thing about them because, pretty much what you see on my channel is, all my research. Those videos I used to do on the channel that would literally take me a week or two to create, I would literally come to my office and I would sit here for upwards of 10, 11 hours staring at the screen and just doing research on the one network for a week or two. I'm not exaggerating, right? Obviously, that's why things have had to change, but I learned a lot doing that. But obviously, I didn't have time to do any other research, right? So yeah, I don't really know too much about some of these other big projects. But the good thing is I've hit the point where I can just research them very quickly and spend little time on them and know pretty much all I need to know, okay? Which is ideally where I want everyone else to be. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. CoinSpot, good Australian exchange. I'm not one. I don't want to talk crap about any exchanges or anything in general, but I've had multiple experiences in the past. When I first got into crypto, I used CoinSpot. They're an Australian exchange for those who aren't familiar. And yeah, I was trying to move money around and it wasn't that much. It was $3-4 grand multiple times and they blocked my withdrawal and had to call me. It was kind of saddening. They might have changed that process in the meantime. Sleepyhead, how long until Judge Torres has to make her decision? I've seen people saying that she technically needs to make her ruling before a specific date. Love the content. First of all, thank you so much. I don't know about that, actually. I would say they can't keep it. They can't extend it for too much longer, surely. Oh, Caleb and Brandon's in the US as well. Okay, sweet. By the way, guys, DC is my my mentor, okay? He's helping me out quite a lot in the back end. So without him, I wouldn't be doing this sort of stuff. So what the man says is typically the gospel, right? VeChain will pump, but a newer supply chain project I would like is Morpheus. Okay, so yeah, let's get into some of these screen. Let's just, God, I'm really mixing my words up tonight. I don't know what's happening here. It's been a long day. I hope you forgive me. Okay. All right, let's have a quick look here. Let's move the recording software. Hi from Brisbane. Welcome. Welcome. You're on the same side of the island as me. That's awesome. He keeps your back end smooth. Get your head out of the gutter, Wob. Get your head out of the gutter, mate. Okay. Origin Trail. All right, let's look into it. Yeah. Okay, we'll look into Origin and then VeChain, and then we'll close off. I wish everyone good night, or good morning, or good afternoon. Origin Trail is a Web3 infrastructure project combining a knowledge graph and blockchain technologies to create a neutral, I thought that said neural, inclusive ecosystem. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm probably, the next live stream I do, I'm definitely going to make it earlier in the day for me. Organizing AI-grade knowledge assets, making them discoverable and verifiable for a sustainable global economy. What's the market cap of this one? Okay. From data silo... Oh, okay. The ecosystem builds on principles of neutrality, inclusiveness, and usability, and contributes to a more transparent, collaborative, and trusted economy. Harnessing the power of the decentralized knowledge graph, anything from supply chain data, consumer goods, or digital collectibles can be evolved into discoverable and verifiable Web3 assets, driving transparency and trust. Okay, yeah, cool. Ooh, okay. Interesting. I'm not reading that. Okay, yeah. I mean, you know, I've known about Origin Trail. I've just never looked into it. So their whole like USP is the decentralized knowledge graph, right? Publishing and queuing assets and their data graphs is quick and simple, allowing you to use the core functionalities in the design of your solution. Okay. Global index of assets. The DKG organizes all issued assets into a smart global index, allowing all assets to be made discoverable by keywords or IDs. Yeah, cool. Origin Trail is scalable and highly efficient. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Privacy by design. Cool. Oh, that's actually quite a lot of nodes. I don't know how easy it is to spin those up. Probably pretty easy. Supporting all critical global standards to drive. Yeah, okay. It seems like a really good network, man. Dimitri, seems like a good network, bro. It's a parachain, yeah. Roadmap. Let's check the roadmap. Let's see what's going on in the future for these boys. And look, there's a few things that you can kind of like look at very quickly to see whether a project's good or not. Like, and it all depends. It's all like, okay, if this, then that. If not, then this. If this, then that. You know what I'm saying? So, it all depends on the project as well. Turing phase. Oh, okay. This looks so annoying to read. Oh, okay, right. I understand. Okay. Okay. I don't want to read more about that. But yeah, okay. It seems interesting, man. It is one I will write down for later. I have a massive list of projects to go through, and I honestly probably don't even get... I probably get through one every 2 days. Next, VeChain. Vet. Melbourne is freezing. Man, I get sick anything beneath 25 degrees Celsius. So, yeah, for me... For me, I couldn't live in Melbourne. Even Brisbane, man, I struggle when I go down to Brisbane, you know. VeChain, blockchain for our better world. Bolstering trust, collective action, redefine value, and interconnected ecosystems. The VeChain white paper 3.0 is here. I think I looked into these on the last live stream. We looked through VeChain quickly, didn't we? Let me just, you know, because I can't be bothered to read all that right now. VeChain is a versatile enterprise-grade L1 smart contract platform. You see, like, when we look at, you know, okay, there's a lot of, like, new layer 1 networks out there. I'm sure if we go to old CoinMarketCap, I swear there's a layer 1, maybe not anymore, hey? We surely, I swear there was a, here we go. Category, layer 1, surely. Layer 2, okay. Layer 1. I mean, how many layer 1 networks do we really need? Okay. Apparently not a lot. 27. There's so many though, like still 27 networks all competing for that place at the top. No, there's definitely more layer 1 networks out there than this, surely. But yeah, so when I like look at a layer 1 network, I'm trying to find what their USP is. So, you know, they can all push, say, 10, 20,000 TPS. They're all pretty well close to instant finality. They're all so-called, you know, infinitely scalable in terms of their nodes, and it's not gonna impact the speed of the network. But what's different? You know, what's different? My God, they need someone to go through the website and just copyright. Because I'm sorry, okay, your journey, right? That should be, and again, I'm not a copywriter myself, but I've read enough websites now to bloody well be like, they need to just cut this crap down. I don't care how old or how, you know, common or known VeChain is. I'm sorry, guys, you need to get better than that. You need to get better than that. Like, that don't cut it. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to keep it 100% candid with you guys. Like, look at this stuff. This is despicable. I want to just simply have, like, okay, let's just compare VeChain with HBAR. You guys are going to get a good idea of what the hell I'm talking about here. Right, we're comparing apples with apples, except one's rotten and one's just ripe off the tree. I mean, need I say more? Need I say more? Look at this. It's simple, extremely effective, says what it needs to, okay? You got even the kilowatt per transaction, okay? The usage. We've got some good names. What is Hedera? Then a whole paragraph covering the entire screen. Use case and ecosystem. And then we go to VeChain. Okay, that's okay. We're starting off fine. Looks like something I made in looks like something I made quickly over in what's that website you can use to create God, I'm forgetting now. Anyway, but look at this. It's just a mind dump of just text. I just don't like it, right? And you can see why that's very unappealing. I mean, come on. So I guess whoever asked me that question, I forget. I do apologize now about VeChain. I'm gonna look into this later on. You know, and this is actually something that you guys should needs to be more concise. 100%. This is one thing that I want to push every single one of you to remember. No matter how new you are to the space, no matter what happens, you're still a bloody human at the end of the day. You still have common sense. Most of us have common sense, okay? Apply it to crypto. You don't know how many times I've read through white papers, I've read through complicated things, and thought to myself, wouldn't it just be easier if? And challenged it and thought to myself, well, why wouldn't they do that? And then I ended up reading more, and a lot of the time, they would actually answer that question inadvertently. I'd be like, okay, so, you know, why is there like 10 communication hoops? Why not just do this, this, and this? And you go, oh my God, like that makes so much sense. I'm super smart. And it's okay to think like that because you're challenging these protocols. Just because they're big and everyone knows them and everyone might love them and talk about them, doesn't mean you can't have opposing views, right? I mean, just look, it's colorful, for example. So yeah, you guys get the idea at this point, right? Yeah, look, what Wob says, okay, bad spelling and grammar puts me off a project as well. Especially if they're misleading. Instantly, I will see bad grammar or a mistake in the spelling, like probably once, and I'm like, oh, I don't know anymore. But if I see it a second time, I'm like completely put off. Because they have millions of dollars. They know that their website is their like storefront. So why not make it perfect? Do I like LF0? Yes. I actually heard some recent news that they were partnering with a country or something like that. Or a big company. So yeah, I am still like LF0. Yeah. I was very annoyed because I'm obviously not concerned about this, but I was making my review on LF0 and I had the tech down. All right, I had all the tech written up, and I try to keep the tech as actual to the fact as possible. So I used to send it off to the team when I could, and got the team to review it, and they sent me back, and I could just alter some things that I might have made mistakes on, or at least just knew I was doing the right thing and saying the right sort of stuff. And because this is ultimately extremely complicated stuff, right? And it was a little cheat sheet too. I ended up learning a lot more that way. But I ended up sending off my document to them, and in the document I said, these guys look like they're going to be a Polkadot parachain because they were involved quite heavily with Substrate. And I think it was the chief technology officer, I forget his name now. He sent it back and he was like, da 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 da, do this, do that, good job, or whatever it might have been. And then he was like, oh, also don't mention we're going to be a Polkadot parachain. I was like, damn, they're not going to be a Polkadot. I was like, oh damn, I thought I was onto something there. And like it was a month or so later, and they were like, we're a Polkadot parachain. I was like, damn it, he just didn't want the news to get out there. I was like, oh man, wouldn't it sounded great? Wouldn't it have sounded great? You know. Going to a crypto conference in Melbourne. Ooh, yeah, I would love to go, man. Yeah, hopefully nice and warm. Good luck, Graham. It's never warm in Melbourne as far as I'm aware. Unless, actually, no, I stand corrected. It's, you know, I've definitely seen on the news, it's been up to like 40 degrees in the past. Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Wow. Must be, DB, yeah, must be quite early over there, man. Thanks for tuning in. Bris Vegas for the win. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you all coming in to the live stream today. I want to apologize again, matter of fact, for stuttering and stumbling quite a bit. I think I'm going to change the time I do this. Right now it's 8 p.m. for me, but I've been running since about 5 a.m. this morning, so I'm quite tired. In the future, I definitely think I'm going to be probably doing something suitable to American time, and then switching that between American and European time, bouncing that back and forth. And, you know, it'll ideally match up sometime with us over in Australia here, probably morning or evening. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this live stream. Now, what I want you to do is, after this is posted, go to my channel on this video. I'm going to be in there for about 15 minutes. I'm going to be responding to some YouTube comments I haven't got to today so far in the last few videos I've made. And so I'll be answering some questions. So if you have anything that's not too in-depth, I'll also answer those over there. But again, thank you so much for jumping on here today. Really appreciate you all. Again, next Monday, I'm going to change the time, but I will let you know on when that will actually be. Okay? Thanks all. Talk to you soon. Bye. Peace.